Once upon a time, in the heart of a lush, green forest, there lived a curious little boy named Finn. Finn had hair the color of autumn leaves and eyes that sparkled like dewdrops in the morning sun. He adored exploring the forest, often pretending he was on grand adventures. One breezy afternoon, while searching for rare mushrooms to show his grandmother, Finn's ears caught a sound unlike anything he had heard before. It was a melody so enchanting, it seemed to glide on the wind itself. Finn's heart twitched with excitement and curiosity. He felt as if the forest was calling to him, and without a moment's hesitation, he followed the invisible path laid by the song. The deeper he ventured into the forest, the more vivid the song became. It was as though 1,000 tinkling bells were joining a harmonious choir of chirping birds. Finally, Finn arrived at a hidden clearing where he beheld a wondrous sight. Standing majestically in a perfect circle were stones, but not just ordinary stones. These stones shimmered in hues of silver and blue, and each seemed to hum its note to create the incredible melody. Finn approached with cautious wonder, half expecting to wake from a delightful dream. He watched, entranced, as the stones glowed softly, singing without any sign of human or animal nearby. Lost in the symphony, Finn gently touched one of the stones. As he did, a gentle vibration coursed through his fingers, and to his astonishment, the stone reacted by changing its tune. A sense of playful discovery bubbled up inside Finn as he moved from stone to stone, experimenting with the different notes and tunes they sang. The air around him buzzed with music that formed sweet stories of the forest, of raindrops dancing on leaves, sunbeams playing hide and seek on the forest floor, and the whispers of the wind. Just as the sun began to dip behind the mountains, casting golden rays through the trees, Finn realized it was time to return home. But not before he gave the stones a little bow, whispering a thank you to his newfound friends. Finn dashed back through the trees, his pockets full of treasures and his heart full of magic, wondering if anyone would believe his tale of the singing stones that serenaded the forest. But he knew, with or without proof, that he had found a melody that changed him forever in the whispers of the forest song. It was a sunny morning when Sophie decided to wander through the meadow near her village. As she strolled past the wildflowers, she suddenly heard a peculiar sound, like a soft whimper. Curiously, she followed the noise until she stumbled upon an unexpected sight, a baby triceratops, small and shivering, with eyes full of fear. "Hello there," Sophie whispered gently, not wanting to startle the creature. The triceratops looked up, its big eyes meeting hers, and Sophie decided to name it Trixie. Realizing that Trixie was lost, Sophie made up her mind to help her new friend find her family. Together, they set off down the winding path that led into the deeper woods. Sophie's heart raced with excitement and a hint of nervousness. After all, meeting a dinosaur was not an everyday event. As they journeyed, Sophie noticed that Trixie would make certain sounds and gestures. With each step, Sophie began trying to mimic these sounds, hoping to understand what Trixie was saying. To her surprise, Trixie responded with happy chirps whenever Sophie got it right. "Trixie, I understand you," Sophie exclaimed, delighted that they were forming a bond. This newfound ability to communicate made locating Trixie's family feel possible. After some time, they reached a wide clearing. There, grazing peacefully, was a herd of triceratops. Recognizing them at once, Trixie trumpeted joyously and ran to her kin. Sophie watched with a smile as the family nuzzled their little one, grateful that Trixie was home. Before heading back, Trixie approached Sophie and nudged her gently, as if to say thank you. Sophie giggled and hugged her dinosaur friend, knowing that she had done something truly wonderful. The sun began to set as Sophie made her way back to the village, recounting her adventure with a gleaming heart. She realized that sometimes all it takes to bridge the gap between worlds is a little understanding and a lot of kindness. In the heart of a vibrant, verdant jungle, two best friends, Sophie and Trixie, found themselves in quite the pickle. You see, Sophie, a bright-eyed girl with a flair for adventure, and Trixie, her trusty little dog with a wagging tail and a brave heart, had accidentally activated a mysterious contraption. It was a gadget of sorts, glimmering mysteriously in the sunlight. And lo and behold, it had whisked them away to a land of towering ferns and prehistorically large footprints. The land of the dinosaurs appeared both wondrous and slightly terrifying, especially with the distant rumbling that grew louder by the second. Just as Sophie collected herself, she saw the source of the noise, a massive, hungry T-Rex, its eyes focused intently on them, its powerful legs covering the ground in giant strides. Oh, Trixie, I knew meddling with that gadget was a bad idea, gasped Sophie, scooping up her trusty buddy. Trixie barked, her tiny legs scrambling to keep up. Panic turned Sophie's thoughts over as quickly as her feet hit the ground. Remembering the gadget in her palm, she fumbled to press one of its buttons amidst the commotion. A bright flash, instantly followed by a dizzying whirl of colors, engulfed them both. Moments later, they landed with soft thuds on cobblestone. The air felt cooler, and the sound of clinking armor surrounded them. Sophie opened her eyes to find herself and Trixie in a bustling medieval courtyard. Knights in shining armor practiced their swordplay, peasants bustled about with baskets, and a grand castle loomed above them. We're safe, Trixie, Sophie breathed, relief sweeping over her as her heart began to slow its gallop. Trixie wagged her tail vigorously, agreeing with a jovial bark. It was another world altogether, and as the adventure duo eyed the looming castle with a mix of wonder and curiosity, Sophie's heart fluttered at the possibilities. But for now, one thing was certain. They had left the toothy grin of danger behind, ready for whatever this new land had to offer next. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a grand castle perched atop a hill. The castle, with its towering spires and magnificent halls, was always bustling with knights and noblemen. Yet, amongst all the hustle and bustle, there was a curious girl named Sophie who always seemed to find herself in the most interesting of places. One day, while exploring the castle's vast gardens, Sophie stumbled upon a secret tunnel hidden behind a wall of ivy. Her adventurous spirit drove her to investigate as she squeezed through the narrow entrance and stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep within the castle's grounds. Within the chamber lay something extraordinary, a young dragon with glistening scales, the color of emeralds. The dragon's eyes widened as it noticed Sophie, and its expression was not of anger or aggression, but of sheer nervousness. Hello there, Sophie spoke gently, as she did not want to scare the creature. My name is Sophie. Are you lost? The dragon swirled its tail anxiously, but nodded slightly, understanding her words. Sophie realized the dragon was afraid, so afraid that it had never learned to fly. Don't worry. I'm here to help you, Sophie reassured, sensing the potential for a newfound friendship. Over the next few days, Sophie visited the dragon regularly, bringing baskets of fruit and reading stories aloud. Slowly, the young dragon gained confidence and trust, edging closer to Sophie whenever she was near. I know you can fly, Sophie encouraged one sunny afternoon, watching the dragon gaze wistfully at the blue sky. Determined, Sophie devised a plan. Together, they climbed the castle stairs until they reached the highest tower. Spread your wings, Sophie instructed. Trust me, and trust yourself. She held out her hand, and the dragon hitched a breath before shuffling to the tower's edge. After moments of self-doubt, the dragon finally launched itself from the tower. Sophie watched in awe as it soared clumsily at first, then with growing confidence, its wings glimmering in the sunlight. On one of their flights, they discovered something astonishing: a sparkling cave nestled in the mountains beyond the castle. Fields of gold and gems littered the ground, an unimaginable treasure hidden away. Sophie was just an ordinary girl living in a bustling village, but today was special. She had just returned from an extraordinary adventure through time. No one knew her secret yet, and she intended to keep it that way for a little longer. Sophie hurried up the cobblestone path, waving at Mrs. Pipkin, the village baker, who was dusting flour off her apron. "Good morning, dear," Mrs. Pipkin called, but Sophie only smiled and tucked the backpack closer to her side, feeling the soft hum of its magical energy. "Hello, Sophie," chirped Alfie, the quirky postman with a booming voice and a bicycle that clattered as he rode. "You've been away a long time. Did you discover hidden treasures?" Alfie's curiosity amused Sophie. "Oh, just visiting some relatives," Sophie replied with a cheeky grin. She couldn't tell him that she'd seen dinosaurs. Sophie's house wasn't far now. She imagined what her mom would say about her adventures. Inside her cozy room, Sophie settled on the window seat, the backpack snug beside her. As she opened the flap, a strange glow flickered briefly. Sophie quickly shut it, listening for footsteps. The coast was clear. Tucked inside the backpack were treasures from different eras: a carved stone from prehistoric times, a feather quill from a medieval scribe, and a peculiar gadget that whirred with lights from the future. Suddenly, the floorboards creaked and her little brother, Tommy, poked his head around the door. "Sophie, what have you got there?" His eyes were always curious, big and round. "Just some souvenirs," Sophie said, sliding the backpack further behind her. Tommy squinted suspiciously. As days went by, word spread about the girl who seemed to know things nobody else did. Whispers floated in the market about Sophie's mysterious abilities. Yet, she was always modest, dodging questions with laughter. But one evening, as stars blinked brightly over the village, Sophie shared with Tommy the secret of her travels. His eyes widened with wonder and excitement. "Can I come next time, Sophie?" he exclaimed. "Maybe," Sophie said mysteriously, "if you promise to keep it a secret." The siblings giggled, imagining the adventures that awaited them. And so, Sophie became the girl who traveled through time, her heart full of stories to tell and mysteries yet to unfold.